Imagine this, you are trapped in a crumbling world filled with monsters. But despite the horrors that await you, you are still trying to save your friends. This is the world of Reanimal. If you haven't heard of it yet, it's a horror adventure game with a massive focus on atmospheric storytelling and puzzle solving. It's developed by Tarsier Studios, the developers behind Little Nightmares 1 and 2, and those who have played it are already calling it the real Little Nightmares 3. Before we dive into the review, a quick disclaimer: I played this in single player and my laptop is, let's just say, fairly old. So whatever my final score ends up being, you can safely assume the game will look and perform even better for you. The story begins with a group of children looking down a well, and then it transitions to us in a boat. And as we drive the boat for a minute, we find our sister in this ocean. We save her, but her immediate reaction is to try and choke us to death. After we kick her away and she calms down, there's some tension in the air for some moments.
Where are the others? Don't know.
It's only a bit later, when we find another kid, that the mission becomes clear. We are trying to save people we used to know.
You should leave. While you still can.
Now usually my story summaries are a bit longer, but Reanimal has minimal dialogue, with the focus being entirely on environmental storytelling, leaving a lot of the why and how ambiguous. When I first started playing, I had a few guesses, like maybe it's a war-torn world, where these monsters caused humanity to vanish, or maybe a nuclear war created these things. At one point, watching them hunt and eat children of pure instinct, I even thought it might be a metaphor for those that prey on the young and naive in our world. But in the end, I was left with as many questions as when I started. I hope the DLC gave us some clarity. Let's talk gameplay. There's really no hand holding in the game, beyond telling you the controls, as well as a tiny diamond icon to indicate what you can interact with. The camera, which you don't control, can make it very hard to handle your character because you can't see what's ahead. However, the lack of camera control actually adds a massive amount of tension. You will be navigating abandoned buildings, forests, oceans, and so on, slipping across gaps and crawling into spaces only children could fit. A lot of the areas can only be progressed in a linear manner, but some do allow more exploration, although I do have to say that the way they link sometimes does feel forced, breaking immersion. Most of the time you have to work together because you are small and weak. The stealth sections are fun, the puzzles make things interesting, and for some of them you will need your sister's help, which you trigger by pressing the C. Chase sequences are thrilling, although since the game is optimized for a controller, it was straining to my hands because I needed such minute control on those tiny keys. The mouse is basically irrelevant unless you are on the boat. It lets you control the light and throw the harpoons. Playing with a friend is more fun, but the AI in the single player carries its own weight and can even help you figure out what to do if you simply observe what it's doing. Like here, I had no idea that I could fight back until I saw the AI do so. However, it can sometimes mess up too. You will find multiple posters to unlock concept art, and there will be hidden unlockable masks throughout the game as well. But I actually recommend sticking with just one. The reason is I died a couple of times simply because I got confused about which character I was controlling. Oh, and keep an eye out for coffins. Finding them unlocks a secret ending, which is just an extra cutscene, but still. There's also occasional combat, mostly against bots, as you don't stand a chance against anything else, so you just have to run. That helplessness creates real stakes. That said, you can fight back against monsters a few times. It's just a sporting mechanism overall though, and not something focused on much. The game usually follows a simple yet perfect formula. Fast, slow-paced gameplay with atmospheric tension and puzzle solving to progress, and then sudden panic chases or other heart-pounding situations. A major criticism I have seen is that the game is too short for its price points. Depending on your skill level, you are looking at about 4 to 7 hours. It doesn't have a lot of replayability value, considering it will be the same every time you play, but the game is fun enough that you can replay it once or twice with a friend. The experience is worth it even with the short length. And just wait for a sale and it will definitely be value for money. Visually, Reanimal is fascinating. On my older device, it still looks like an oppressive environment where anything could happen. This world feels truly abandoned, not only absent of humans but of anything holy as well. Also, darker areas can get a bit foggy, which makes navigation tough even if you crank the brightness. The art direction is top tier and can even be beautiful in its own haunting ways. The sound design is a massive win. Even when nothing is happening, the environmental noises create a sense of foreboding, like there's a distant threat you really don't want to meet. But a sudden silence is when it feels the most oppressive. The musical cues are also great for gameplay. They tell you when you are in danger or when you are finally safe before you even process it visually. As for the voice acting, there's not much dialogue, but what is there is excellent. For example, the way Sniffer constantly repeats, "Oh no." Or the leaf dialogue from the large pig. Short, creepy, and memorable. Reanimal is a fun, suspenseful ride. While it definitely could have been longer, I don't have much else to complain about. Although the upcoming DLC will make the game longer, it's regardless worth it for the terrifying atmosphere, the fun co-op, those heart-stopping moments, and the puzzles. Just don't go in expecting multiple endings, as I have seen some articles misinform people about. There's only one regular ending and one special one, which just has one extra cutscene. Or to be spoon-fed information about the story or the world. Believe me, you will leave with more questions. Unless again the DLC changes that. Overall, I had a blast and I'm giving Reanimal a solid 8 out of 10.